to the FanMouth Fantasy Roundtable. I'm Erin, here with Dave and Jeff. And as we look forward to Week 12, we're going to tell you about some sleeper picks that you can get at a great value and that might put up some points for you this week. Jeff, who do you have?
Well, this week I think is great for sleepers. Dave and I kind of talked about that a little bit this week, is that there's a lot of good matchups out there and there's a lot of players that are, I feel, underpriced. You know, you're looking at these guys outside of the top 10 or 20 or so of their positions, and there's a lot of value there. For myself, I think at the quarterback position specifically, you'll see Dave is taking a cheap quarterback this week and getting a lot of value there. And I see up and down that list of quarterbacks matchups that I don't mind at all, you know, as far as price goes. And for me, I've kind of got a sleeper for you. I don't know who it's going to be, but I want maybe the Vikings quarterback. They haven't named a starter yet at this point, but I want whoever's starting in that game, because I think for an extremely low price, you need to consider that they're going to be less than 10% of your cap, that you're not expecting much out of them, that they can produce some points there. Obviously, you're not going to get 20 points out of them. I'm going to tell you that right now. But you can get somewhere in the teens with one of these guys, and I think it's a good value.
And you had mentioned to me before, and I agree with this, that I think it takes less for a quarterback to have a decent day for a very low price than it does at other positions. Other positions you can get absolutely nothing and just waste your $5,000 or $6,000. Quarterback, I don't care how bad he is, he's always going to give you a little something.
Geno Smith, how many points did he get last week?
Well, that's rare.
-4?
That's rare. And it was surprising too, because it was a good matchup, right?
I
mean, it's
ugly.
turning into a bad matchup. Like, it's the beginning of the season against Buffalo. Looks like a great matchup, right? But with Jarius Byrd healthy now, he had a huge impact on that game, and it's not necessarily as good of a matchup as we originally thought. So
I also went with a sleeper quarterback. I felt the same way. A lot of sneaky picks this week. Mine's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Small sample size, but this is a veteran who's very comfortable out there. He's not new, not fumbling around. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. Like I said, small sample size, but he's going up against Oakland, who let Nick Foles just do whatever he wanted. I kind of think maybe they're on the verge of something like that in this game. I just liked what I saw last week from Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he's very cheap.
Yeah, and you said something that's key there. He hasn't thrown an interception yet, and he kind of tends to do that, though, over his career.
Do you think the Raiders are going to?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really knock the pick, but the fact that he's put up mediocre numbers so far, right? Nothing really special without throwing interceptions. What if he throws an interception? That'll bring it way down.
Well, my sleeper quarterback, I've got him in my lineup, so I've already stooped to that level. I'm going to switch over to running backs here, and I'm not one to give you pass-catching running backs who don't carry the ball a lot, but I do like the Indianapolis-Arizona matchup in terms of a lot of passes being thrown. I think you could make a case for Trent Richardson of Indianapolis catching a lot of passes this game, but his price is still kind of high. I wouldn't risk it. Andre Ellington, on the other hand, is a guy who could catch the ball this game 5, 6, 7 times in a game where there's going to be a ton of passing. I think this game suits him very well, and I think he has the potential at a very low price to give you the 10 points, the 12 points, all you need from your sleeper running back.
I will admit that I was wrong last week. I had Andre Ellington, okay? But I'm not going to fall for it again, I'll tell you that. So I don't like the pick. Obviously, last week appeared to be a much better matchup than this one, and he was very poor. So
I mean, to be honest with you, I have no idea how to explain last week's matchup. You would think if Arizona's throwing the ball 40 some odd times that they're going to throw the ball to Ellington out of the backfield more than just a couple of times. I think maybe what happened in that game was Jacksonville's pass defense was so bad that Palmer was able to throw the ball downfield anytime he wanted. And you can see that in the targets, where Floyd got all the targets, and Fitzgerald, even the tight end, Hausler, got a lot of targets. If Indianapolis pass defense is just a little bit better than that, maybe he has to check down more, get the ball to Ellington out of the backfield. As a sleeper, I think this matchup, to me, is better than his matchup last week.
Do you have any other sleepers, Jeff, or is that where I guess we're in all quarterbacks?
You know, I like Ruben Randall this week. I like him as a player way more than a fantasy player. Eventually, Ruben Randall, look forward to next year and so on, when Hakeem Nicks is probably out of the picture, and this guy is going to be absolutely incredible. But right now, he's not getting a ton of targets, right? Right now, this week, he has an incredible matchup against the Cowboys. You would think that Eli's going to try to throw the ball a lot, and while I do think he's going to throw to the other team some, I think he'll end up luckily getting some into the hands of his own receivers as well. So for an extremely low price, you're looking at him and Nix around the same price, right? And I trust Randall way more than I trust Nix right now. Nix is just kind of on my never start list. I don't trust that guy at all.
Well, you mentioned this. I think this is a great week for sleeper wide receivers. I think there's a bunch of them out there you can go with. I think Torrey Smith of the Ravens is a great pick. The reason that I didn't put him in my lineup was because I already got Joe Flacco. And I'm already rolling the dice on him a little bit. If he doesn't have a good game, I'm afraid he takes Smith down with him, and I don't want to risk two positions. But if Flacco does have a good game, Smith's by far his best passing target. So I like him. I like Eric Decker. We don't know what Welker's situation was going to be. We don't know about Julius Thomas. I think Decker could be their number one receiver this week. But on my sleeper list, I'm going to give you Cecil Shorts of Jacksonville. I think that you know me, I love the receivers who complain about not getting enough touches. He was very mad last week against Arizona, only getting targeted a couple of different times. He's there at this point without Blackman in there. I think he's their best receiver. Hopefully his message was heard and he gets a lot of balls this week in another one of these games where Jacksonville should have to throw a lot because they're going to be behind.
I would say that he's their best receiver regardless of whether Blackman is there or not. Obviously, Blackman has the physical tools, but Shorts actually has a head on him. So
Shorts was covered pretty tough last week. That was a bad
there was a lot
matchup
of
for
attention
him.
on. Absolutely. So Shorts.
Not according to him.
Well,
with Shorts too, complaining or no complaining, he's going to get targets. He's one of the most targeted receivers in the league right now, so he should get plenty of opportunities this week, you would think. Especially, I like guys coming off rebound games, not necessarily when they complain. I don't buy as much into that, but I do like the receivers that are targeted a lot. As we talked about, it's opportunity.
And this is against the Houston defense that just gave up 3 touchdown passes to McGloin of the Raiders last week. So the potential is there for Jacksonville to move the ball through the air.
yeah, maybe Jacksonville's not quite as bad as we think. They have some potential there. They won a game this year, right?
They did win a game.
They had to do
We'll
it
give them
somehow.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are our sleeper picks for week 12. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully our picks will help you win your fantasy matchups this week.